Boom, boom, boom. Not a lot of bling when he do the thing. Bada boom, bada bing. From the womb to the tomb, get that ricotta, bada bing, bada boom. Doom! Your reputation precedes you. Wait till you crack and see what we do, you dweeb, you. No pun intended, takes one to know one, well, no, it's unscented. No, son, commence in front of scent from out of time. Before everybody and they mutter rhyme. What a crime. Beats is the same way. Hey, do you know what's a really good Doom song that I've been sort of like sleeping on lately? I used to listen to it all the time. It would be on my playlists. And then more recently it hasn't been. And then I was making another Doom playlist and I was like, I saw the name of a track and I was like, wait, I used to listen to that all the fucking time. Why haven't I listened to it recently? And the track is called Trapdoor, and you may be aware of it. You may be like, yeah, that's a fucking good Doom track. And do you know what? I'm going to play it now, and fucking, I don't know, maybe it'll affect the video. Maybe the podcast get taken down. Maybe it won't. Maybe I'll have to pay more. Who knows? But it's a good song. So hit it, Smokey.
He moves the crowd like a cursor on Zoom. No curse words doom. The worst church nerd verse heard appeared blurred to a million true believers. He is the supervillain arms dealer to the divas. Catch amongst underworld scandals, but a pearl handles to match a girl's sandals. Plan was hatched by a pack of old vandals, whose flag was a black and gold patch with bloody anvils. Hit him to the head was the motto, and one more time to make sure them dead, Blocko. When you throw blows in a knife fight, Paco, it's how it goes in this modern life like Rocco. Clock go, 24/7 cycle. When it comes to flows, he got more than a mic full. Pull abroad like a dyke bull on a long bid. You're messing with the wrong kids, Michael. It ain't Jack, son, for him to flip scripts like camera, action, villain. Raw by the laws of attraction for future generations' information. The black one. Move the crowd like a Buddha cloud, the purple. Puff, puff, pass round the circle. A jerk well renowned for his work skill, he's out. The proof is the computer's down, Urkel. MC a show via Wi-Fi. Paid way before we wrap it up like tie-dye. Hip-hop sci-fi, you can see he had the eye of the tiger through the mask like the Fry Guy. Just made a baby Olmec dome check, left some folks' ancestors home wrecked with blown backs. These lesser known facts thwart evil. They got no reason, like short people. No offense, his feet would burn brass. Whenever he walked on the street, it turned glass. On his lucky rat's paw in the crap drawer. All the world's a stage, where's the trapdoor? Slack jaw, logic to keep your mind in the project. Drop the check, his job is to chop necks. That's just payback for noses, no sight though. What they don't know like bone won't hurt diddly squat. Got to be kidding me, not seriously plot. Put a hit out on the G-spot. Drip like Egypt out their kettles and their teapot.
That's right.
Whoa! Wow, wasn't that a cool killer Doom track? And that's, yeah, let's hang out. We're hanging out, draw, listen to some tunes together and call them tunes like an old man. Because I'm an old man. Speaking of an old man, who's this crazy character? Oh, we recognise this guy. Uncle Fartface, Big Dick Homouth, Shit Dick Piss Brain, Ass Fart Piss Fart Dick Ass Poo Ball, Poopy Poopy Poo Mouth, the third. Oh, it's you, it's bloody you, it is. Oh, look at it, it's bloody. Somebody somewhere fairly recently said I should draw more. I should draw a self-portrait. And I was like, yeah, I drew one before, but like not recently. And I drew a few when I was staying in that suicide care place. Because I think I mentioned I kept we were given a journal. So I did some drawings in it of sort of like my feelings at the time of where I was at. with no intention of showing them off, which is a very odd thing for me to do any kind of drawing without the intention of showing it off somewhere. Because everything's content, isn't it? Every drawing I do, it's got to be content for something. It's got to get this many likes at least, otherwise what's the point? But yeah, so within there was a few self-portraits, but they were, you know, just sort of like little sketches showing how I'm feeling and, you know, whatever. I'm not really going anywhere with that. I'm just saying, you know, I don't tend to draw myself a lot because I don't like myself or the way I look, and sometimes I see someone else's face when I look at my own and it's not happy. It makes me want to die. Hey, welcome to the show. Let's draw. But I'm doing them today because it's a very we're being self-reflective today. If I might take take a moment away from the usual theme of talking about myself and what I do all the time, to instead talk about myself and what I do all the time. Because it be like that sometimes. It's just, it's about me. It's me, bloody me. It's just a theme. It's just a theme for this week's episode. Yeah, it's not too deep. It's not that deep, bro. Yeah, we're chilling. Do you know what? Let's change the subject completely. I'll draw myself. I'm a few little drawings, joy draws of me. We might talk about, me and deeper issues relating to me as a subject matter, because I'm fascinating. Let's talk about me. Do you know what I was thinking? I know what I want my superpower to be. It's quite a good drawing, actually. Sometimes self-portraits can get a bit like... but that's quite good. It's just a really, really quick drawing from a photo. I drew these beforehand because portraits are so easy to fuck up. I thought if I start drawing them during the podcast and I fuck them up, then I'm going to feel silly and I have to start again and re-record. But I drew these quite quickly from a couple of photos I took, or 3 photos specifically. Did some quick little sketches just to have something to work on during the talking of the episode. And pretty good. I think because I approached them with a sort of like just quickly get them out, and then they're good enough. Whereas if I tried to like labour over them and make them all accurate and shit, then they'd come out even more shit. But that's pretty fucking good, I've got to say. I'm pretty happy with that already. It's not much, but it's pretty alright so far. Still time to fuck these ones up. But so my superpower, I'm getting into the why and how I thought of it is boring as fuck. But do you know what I thought would be funny to have as a superpower? Would be the ability to push over a car, but like not super strength or anything like that, not be strong enough to push over a car, but just some innate knack. You know where like there's videos of that guy balancing shit? He'll have like glass bottles and stones and then balance a chair on it all in this weird hickledy-pickledy manner. And then, it takes him a few tries, or a lot of tries, but eventually he balances it, where he has a knack for finding that point of balance in all these objects to make them balance. And that would be my superpower, would be to have that knack, but for like pushing over cars. And there are rules to it. It only ever works once. I can push a car onto its side. I don't have anything car-like close by. All right, if this pig... Oh, shit. God damn it. Fucked all that up. It's a good job on my laptop screen was just my face and not porn, because that would be embarrassing. Wow, that was a first, wasn't it? Just fuck my... Off to a good start. Right, if this pig is a car, the rules are I have a knack of just knowing exactly where to push, regardless of the size of the car. And it works all vehicles. Buses, trucks, trailer trucks, fucking vans, little cars, big car, any vehicle. My superpower is I sort of have a knack for pushing it over onto its side, and that's it. And then I can't do anything. I can't then push it again. I can't lift it up because it's not super strength. My knack is for pushing it over onto its side, and that's it. And that's my superpower. No matter how tall or short the car, its center of gravity, its wheelbase, whatever, I can go up to a car and be like, right here, push, and it goes onto its side, and then I go, yes. And then it might, depending on the size and shape of the car, it might then roll onto its back or something. And that's a, you know, a byproduct of me enacting my power upon the car. Push it onto its side, fuck you, and run away. And because it's a superpower, I can do it with like a bus. I can run up to a bus, well, even if it's full of people, and just fucking go right in the right place and just go and push it, and it falls on its side, and I go fuck you, and I run away. And that's ultimately the point of that power. It's a power of mischief. Yeah, it's not like some grandiose, world-saving or world-destroying power. The entire purpose of it is to cause mischief and havoc among the publish. Wow, what fucking word was I going for there? The public. Maybe I was just going for the word public. The was there an actual word I was looking for there other than just the public? The publicity, the public. Fuck knows. I have no idea. I just thought that would be funny. I was taking a walk and I saw a car and I thought, wouldn't it be funny to just be able to push it over and then run away laughing and go, oh, you got to help get this the right way up now. And I say, nope, that's not my power. That's not what I'm here for. I was gifted the ability to push a car over, not to right it again. So fuck you. And I'd have to make a costume and I'd be called like the car tipper. Like cow tipping, which is a thing, apparently. I've never done it, but it sounds funny. Which, if you're unaware, cow tipping is the act of pushing over a cow. Apparently it's relatively easy, and apparently they have difficulty getting up again, and they can die because of that. Because cows aren't used to being on their side, which might be absolutely a lie. I'd say all of this with information I've heard second or third or fourth hand, and have never once thought to research myself. But the tale goes, even if it's like an urban myth or whatever, the tale goes, cows stand up and like lay down on their legs, like lay down on their fronts, and then they can do that. I'm almost certain I've seen cows on their side, but whatever. But if you push a cow onto its side, apparently it can't get up again. I don't know. And it's called cow tipping, and it's apparently a thing, though I've never witnessed it. I can't imagine a cow being easy to push over. But again, it's one of those like urban myth things, like the Bloody Mary. Or did you know that was a big thing in our school? If you say Bloody Mary into a mirror 3 times, then she'll come and kill you. I think I was scared of that for like a minute, and then I very quickly was like, wait, what? No, why would that be a thing? Of course she's not going to fucking stupid silliness. Ghosts and ghouls, goblins, gays. Ugh, they're getting married. Which the only thing I have bad to say about that is just that marriage is stupid. Oh, did you hear that? Did you hear that accent? Marriage is stupid. Ooh. God, it comes out now and again, doesn't it? My clearly royal background. The whole working class thing, growing up in council houses, that's all a myth. I make that up to appear more relatable to my user base. My audience, whatever. I'm actually royalty. That's why I'm so good with the English language, so well spoken. God, that did come out. That came out in. I was in therapy recently. And that, I can't remember the word, but that, I think it was like I was saying garage or something, and it came out like garage. And I even stopped and did this whole thing to the therapist to be like, oh, garage, do you like how I pronounced that? Fucking silliness. Oh, boo. So today we're drawing me Betty Boo. I just thought it would be funny to push cars over. That's car tipping, cow tipping. Wouldn't that be a fun superpower though? And then if you're like in like an X-Men, school for mutants kind of situation, and you're sitting around going, well, you're not made of fire, and you're not like blowing wind everywhere, and you don't have spines like a porcupine or a toad like physique and tongue. So what the hell do you, what's mutated about you? What's your power, man? Ewan, if that is your name. Posh boy Ewan, who went to fucking private schools and was raised in a wealthy place, which is why he talks like a fucking fanny. What's your power? And I'd say, do you know what? Come out to the parking lot. I need you to all come out to the parking lot, because I'm in America, so I call it a parking lot. I don't call it a car park, as I would normally on a day-to-day basis. Because mutant schools only exist in America. We don't have them in England because we're not mutants. We're pieces of shit and we're all inbred, but we're not mutants in the same way that Americans are. So we don't have mutant schools. And then I'd say, come out to the... I'd say car park. Join me in the car park, won't you? Won't you join one in the car park, and I will demonstrate my power. And then they'd say, okay, go on and do... What, are you going to, like, blow shit up or make a fireball or, like, make the earth shake and then rise up beneath our feet? And I'd go, no, watch this. And I'd run over to the first car. I'd push it over. And I'd run over to the next car. Push it over, and then the next car, and I push it over, and I go run up to the next, and there would be like a big Jeep, like, again, we're in America, some big fucking Humvee, some 4-wheel drive, all-terrain vehicle, some fucking gangster, big, huge thing, and they'd be like, well, he's not going to be able to push that over, is he? It's enormous, there's no way. And as they're saying that, I'd be halfway through pushing it over, and then I'd fully push it over, and they'd be like, oh shit, you're just pushing over all the cars, and they'd all be like, so what, you're super strong, and you can push cars over? And I'd be like, no. What it is it's like a knack. Like, I find the knack for knowing how and where to push, and then I can just push cars over, and that's it. And it doesn't work with anything else. I can't even push over a cat. I don't have the knack for pushing over cats, but I can push over a car. And you'd think cats, because the word is so similar to the word car. You'd be like, oh, well, surely anything with like a C and an A and then another letter. Cans, caps... Cabs I can, because they're a type of car. So, I mean, but that's coincidental. That's not, I'm now going through the alphabet in my head, trying to... Cams, that's not a thing. I mean, it is. A cam is a thing. A cam is a camera. A cam is also a mechanism, a piece of a mechanism that, like, you turn it and it makes another thing move. It's a cam, like a cog, but it's not like a cog shaped. It's called a cam. Car, cas, cam, cack, cal, can, cow. And that cow was C-A-O is what I was saying in my head. I wasn't saying C-O-W, because that's just a cow, isn't it? Fucking silly sod sausage. So that would be my superpower if I was going to have one. Oh, let's take a look at a new graphic novel that's released yesterday, I think. Intro. It's called It's Lonely at the Centre of the Earth, and this is clever, an autobiographic novel. See, it's an autobiographic novel, graphic novel, and it's smart. Zoe Thorogood. I found her fairly recently on Instagram. I discovered her recently on Instagram. I was like, who is this bitch? The fuck is this shit? Cartoonist girl, does her thing. And I was like, hey, her drawings are like pretty neat. You know, she draws like funny little cartoons and depression She's English. That's good to see as well. You know, makes everything she does slightly more relatable, being from the same patch of dirt that I happen to live on. And yeah, she's done a bunch of stuff. She's you know a published comic book artist, and this is her latest thing, and it's an autobiographic. And I was saying last week how, you know, I was sort of bashing autobiographic novels, comic books and such, because they get a bit wanky. And I had this in mind. I was aware this was on its way out. And no shade to Zoe. She seems lovely. Oh, look how cute she is. It's like a hat. She's like a worm. But I find her work to be very relatable. You know, especially on a autobiographical sort of emo, sad artist kind of level. You know, I suffer from depression. I know what it's like to want to be dead. I'm an artist. I'm allowed to publicly scream and cry and piss my pants, and I expect to be applauded for it. That's pretty funny. She seems smart. She seems funny. The artwork itself is like, it's good and well drawn, and it sort of suits her. And I don't know her, but from what I've seen of her online, it feels like her art represents her very, very well, how she draws. And she draws herself in all these different guises, these different aspects of herself. Liar, liar, liar. You know, I some of my self-images, what the fuck am I talking about? Self-portraits that I did in that place, they were based around being an imposter and a liar and such. So it's very relatable content here. I haven't read it. I've looked through it, but even just flicking through it, you can see like the art is, at its basic level, the drawings are good. They're not like blow your tits into orbit good. It's, you know, it's not fucking any number of the great cartoonists or comic book artists that are out there, from Bernie Wrightson, Bill Watterson. Hey, they both start with B and W. That was a nice coincidence, wasn't it? That wasn't even planned. Wow. You know, these great masters of cartooning and inking. It's not that level, but they're very good drawings. So I'm not going to sit here and be like, this is shit, what the fuck. The drawings themselves don't necessarily inspire me to want to create artwork, but they're really, really good in terms of like a person drawing to represent what they're trying to put across. Yeah. And they, you know, some of them are really detailed, some of them are really neat. But also, outside of the drawings, which are good drawings, I don't mean to bash Zoe. That's cool. That's a cool drawing, you know. I can't be mad at that. That's cool. Hey, its head come off. Fuck. As far as I'm aware, this does get pretty dark. Into some dark places, and it's about, like, it's all true to life, and you know, it's Zoe explaining sort of where. I call her Zoe because we're basically best friends. She did follow me on Instagram. She liked a bunch of my stuff, and then maybe she realised I was a piece of shit, and she stopped liking my stuff, and maybe she doesn't follow me anymore. I've not seen her pop up in my likes recently, so I get it. I'm not mad. I understand. I saw this when she was making it. She was posting this on her Instagram and stuff. That's fucking genius, man. Like, this is a photo. This is, you know, it looks almost like it could be paper collage, but I don't think it is. It's digital. This is painted, I can see. There's ink with colour, ink with no colour, like duotone dots, and that's colour pencil or crayon or something, I think. There's all these, and it's all one picture. That's fucking genius, man. That's really fucking clever. Like, as far as making art for a... I said as much when I saw it on Instagram. Like, that's fucking brilliant. I love that. And stuff like this is cool, where it's, you know... it doesn't matter who I am. I can be anything on the page. I can fix my teeth. I can change my hair. I could be someone else. I could be loved. I could disappear. I could be somewhere else. I could change the past. I could be new. I could be anything on my page. Where she's talking about, you know, her process of putting her life into a comic book, I gather. And yeah, and she's saying these things and then illustrating them really well with these few images, which is really smart. And the collage elements, like a paper and pencil collage for the stage that she's on, and it's her stage, and just flipping through, you can see there's stuff like this, like text messages, and there's quite a lot of that sort of stuff. Oh, you can like do your own. Is that what it is? Should I draw my own page in her book, and then put it on Instagram and tag her in it and be like, what am I doing? That's cool. Well, this is, I guess you got some sad news. Hey Zoe, unfortunately, your flight's been cancelled due to COVID. Dun dun dun. We'll get you over next year. Don't worry, things will be better by then. You thought. And sad news, and everything's broken and sad. And there are those moments. These are cool scenes. Like, just the variation in artwork is really interesting. Or it's not just a black and white, and maybe that's what I talk about, the great Incas, fucking whoever, whatever, telling their stories. But then this is on its own level, with, it doesn't need to be the most intricate cross-hatching on every single page, like the best, most masterful ink work you've ever seen, because it's its own sort of brand of artwork with all these different elements, with these different bits of cartooning, her different, guises of herself, colour, black and white, sort of, largely hand-drawn, but then with collage elements and digital elements and a whole mess of stuff. That's really good. That's really good inking as well. Like just the nostrils for the nose, and then even something as small as not drawing like the lower lip. It adds there. It's difficult to explain, but I've said that before about how drawing two objects interacting, like you draw this little bit of shadow here and then this little bit of shadow here, and then almost don't have a line here where the two fingers touch, and it makes it feel like they're really touching each other, like they're almost part of the same fucking thing. And that's a really sort of useful thing to put into your artwork, and it's not the same, but very similar for something like this, just that lower lip of having the teeth almost blend into the lip, and it just gives it sort of like a lightness, or a, I don't know, it gives something to the artwork rather than drawing every single line. There's quite a bit of piss in this, which is good. Either mentions of piss or her sitting having a wee. I relate to that, They don't call me Ewan the Piss Lord McLaughlin for nothing. I saw this, she posted this online. I thought this was really funny, just this little bit where she's obviously at a convention, being self-deprecating and whatnot, which is relatable enough already. And then this little like frog thing comes up. Draw picture. Puts a book on the table. Well, okay, what do you want? Draw picture. Here, it's a demon baby like you. And then the little frog fella goes up to the next person. Draw picture. What a fantastic businessman. Well, that's funny. That's a neat little, like, maybe that's something that actually happened that she's adapting for her story. Maybe it's partly made up. Maybe it's totally made up. Either way, that's a neat little, like, just a neat little thing to put into a story. It's something, and it gives something to the story and the, again, I look at the artwork because I like the artwork. I don't read. I'm not a reader. I'm good at reading. I was a very, very good reader from a very young age. At school, when I went to a new school, I didn't understand the system they worked by. The kids would ask me if I'm a free reader, and I didn't know what the fuck they were talking about. I said, I can just read. And they were like, but what level books do you read? Do you read level 1, level 2, level 3? And there was like green, yellow, blue. I don't fucking know. I just pick up a book and I read it because I know how to read, because I'm not a fucking dunce, you stupid young piece of shit, at this new Christian school I was forced to go to. You fucks! So if I can look at this other person's autobiographic novel and talk about myself for a while, let's do that. The void was here. And there's quite a lot of like her talking, her as if she's like making a film. There's a bit early on, I think. Well, yeah, she's talking about herself and putting herself out there and her story and stuff. And then it's like a movie scene in her flat, and it's like, it's a comic, for Christ's sake. Can't you monologue while fighting giant space worms or something? Just trying to get this bit out of the way. It's all like green screen and lights, cameras and stuff. That's cool too. Character development. Pills and fucking shit. Current me. Pathetic worm. Like, that's literally how I describe myself. Lacking in discernible human qualities. Future me, cool. Character developed. Everyone wants to marry me. Maybe it said something else under that. Ooh, COVID test. Relevant, relatable. That's a neat fucking... I've spoken before about wanting to put more sort of like collage type elements and just stuff into my comics. And then this comes out and goes, hey, here's how you do it. And I don't know, she looks like she's 12. She's probably in her early to mid 20s, but she's done really fucking, she's done, and it's, a decent sized book. She's made the entire thing. She did it about to deadline, as far as I'm aware, like just on deadline. I followed a little bit of her progress making it. And I almost want to dislike it more because, it's an autobiographic thing and like digital manipulation to get the photo looking like her drawing of it. Boobies. That's quite funny. That's painted. That's cool. But yeah, I want to, sit and read through it and go like, oh, so she has a hard time sometimes. She gets depressed and she's trying to be a comic book artist and all this stuff. And like, yeah, I get it. Same. But for all intents and purposes, as much as I haven't read it, it looks like it's probably really good. I'm sure if I do sit down and read it at any point, I'll enjoy it. I'll relate to a lot of it. It'll give me pause for thought, and I'll be like, maybe. And these sorts of things do make me think, like, I could be doing more with my artwork. Like, I could put more sort of thought and emotion and meaning into my artwork instead of just drawing muscles and guns and tits and bums. I saw this online thinking about boobs and killing myself, and the skateboard says piss and the dick's hanging out. Like, that may as well be me. That's how I draw a lot of things. Pizza and a juice, like, fucking tortured artists, cartoonists, man. We're all in a pile, in a sludge pile, and we're all just trying to do our shit. And some of us get published by Image Comics, and some of us don't get our emails replied to from Image Comics. But hey, I'm not bitter. I'm just saying, So this is pretty good, I guess. Yeah, it's all right. Of course, for all my bitterness and anger and disgust and resentment, I do understand a publisher looks at, ultimately their bottom line, what's going to sell, what's a product that we can sell and make money from. It's not about, hey, your drawings are really good, let's publish a book. It's about, well, I take Zoe Thorogood as an example because I've just looked at her, so I can, they look at her, she's already done work. Her art style is very, I don't want to poo-poo it, but it's very easily graspable. It's like a more detailed cartooning sort of. I say Adventure Time, which is only because it's the drawings themselves are simplistic, but like they have a lot of heart in them, and they're well drawn. And her art strikes me as being like another level of that. Like it's a lot more detail, and like the craft is, there's a lot in it. It's easily palatable. because it's sort of like, in terms of the art style itself, it comes across as relatively inoffensive and like cutesy at times, and the subject matter is like something people can relate to, and she's already done work, and she's so hey, listen to me try to explain why I haven't been published yet, because no one wants to publish. Ultimately, my comics about a Viking with guns, like, you know, who cares? You know, it looks cool in parts. Sometimes some of it looks cool, but ultimately, like, whatever. That's why, you know, I have all these ideas I keep going on about. I've got this idea for a graphic novel and this idea for a graphic novel. All these post-apocalyptic stories I want to tell and this and that. And I never do any of them because I spend all my time going, well, I'll just try to get another chapter of Gun Viking done. But ultimately, you know, if I make another chapter of Gun Viking, that can pay my bills for at least a little while. And that's sort of what I've got to focus on, isn't it? You know, especially if all the publishers are just going to ignore my emails and not even reply to me, not even a no, just straight up ignoring me, then I've got to focus on paying my bills, you know. And Gun Viking is something I want to do, so it's not like, you know, it's not that. I'm just, you know, this is what I'm talking about when I say this is going to be about me. I'm just give me a minute to fucking bitch and moan, and then next week I'll talk about more Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Yeah, that's probably, you might have even been expecting that. You might have thought like, well, last week it was all Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and then so maybe this week he said, you know, he's going to talk about like the other films because he watched all fucking 9 of them in one sitting, by the way, which was something. So yeah, okay, maybe next week I'll fucking talk about Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and then all fun and games. But just let me fucking just bitch and moan about myself for a little bit, yeah? These are some really good portraits. I'm really happy with these, and that rarely happens with portraits in general, let alone portraits of my fucking stupid self. I'm not keen on me. I'm not a fan of me, but sometimes I do okay. Like I say, I really try not to look at myself. It's a very, you know, my relationship with my me isn't a great one. And it may be the case that, like, I'll look at these drawings later today or even in 5 minutes and I'll be like, oh, whoa, I'm starting to see stuff I don't want to see. And I'll want to rip them up, tear them out of the sketchbook and never see them again, pretend they never happened. But for now, as drawings, it's pretty fucking good. This is pretty fucking good portraits. I'm pretty happy with how they're looking. You know, it looks like me. I look at this and I go, hey, that's me. Where sometimes you draw a portrait and you go, who the fuck is this supposed to be? But this one, these several, I'm pretty happy with. Well, I was. I feel like I'm already fucking this one up. That's all part of the process. It's a delicate balance. There's lots of fine lines with doing, you know, self-portraits in general, but also, you know, if you do your work about you, it's a fine line between being, like, you know, self-aware and self-expressive and whatever, and then just being, you know, a narcissistic arsehole who doesn't care about other people. And that's how it feels anyway. You know, it might not be the case. I'm sure because when I do make work about myself and you know, things I'm going through and stuff, people relate to it a lot and they appreciate me putting that out there, and you know, it tends to get a lot of love. So I've no reason to believe people don't want to see it. But it's just how it feels. It feels, I use the word wanky because it sort of describes a feeling that it's hard to express otherwise. It just feels like I'm going, oh, me. Aren't I great? Look at my drawings. Listen to me talk about me for a fucking hour. It just feels just fucking wanky. That's the only word I can think of to describe it. Just stupid and pointless, and just get over yourself. Shut up. Just draw some shit. That's what you do. So fucking do it, prick, piece of fucking idiot turd. And so I don't know, doing self-portraits, it's like you can make that your thing, and it's good to do. It's, you know, it is an artistic, you know, practice, like literally on its most basic physical level, you know, practicing drawing portraits and faces and light and structure and tone and all the rest of it. And you've got a face, so why not look at that? It's like just taking pictures of yourself as reference for, you know, comic book panels and paintings or whatever. You're right there, you're a human being, so use you as reference. Why the bloody not? But then it's if you make your work, then it's cool if that's just what you do. But you know, I don't know. I don't know, and I also don't care. Fucking whatever. Fucking just, I have no idea. Like I'm just very depressed, and I'm taking a minute to, I don't know, reflect on me and my feelings about myself, and whether or not I can stand to look at myself, because often I can't. Often I will literally close my eyes as I walk past the bathroom mirror because I can't stand the sight of myself. Which I mean, what does that say? You know, it doesn't really say anything or mean anything. It just is what it is. There's absolutely trauma attached to that, because, as I've said, there's at least one certain person that that sort of I have a lot of trauma relating to, and I will sometimes see their face when I look at my own, and it's horrifically uncomfortable. To see the face of someone that brings you nothing but pain when you look at your own stupid face. It's not a great feeling. And so what am I doing to combat that? Well, I'm going to therapy here and there and trying to talk to people and trying to do this, trying to do that. This drawing portraits of myself could be a means to, you know, just sort of getting used to looking at my own face even if it's in a purely, you know, logistical, artistic way of like constructing a face rather than this is the face I have to live with on a daily basis. And maybe I can get used to it and see myself as an object. Maybe that's what I need to do. If I like objectify myself, just look at myself as an object, and then I won't relate to myself as a person, and that can then be traumatized by other persons. This is really good. I really like this. I wasn't sure when I was doing the pink, but I'm really happy with this. I love the shapes, man. And my nose does that from the front. I've expressed this before, but it just is what it is. Before I had my beard, especially from the front, I've got quite a wide nose, quite large nostrils. You know, I can fit 3 pens in each nostril. That's something. And my lips are relatively plump. Not huge, but like relatively plump. And there was a time, certainly, especially with the shaved head, that if you drew a picture of me, it would look like a drawing of a black man. Because that looks like a drawing of a black man. The beard lessens that. I do look a bit more sort of white with my beard, because this is a very scruffy, scraggly ginger beard. It doesn't look like, like a curly person of colours beard. And then from the side, though, my nose is very pointy. It's like an anime nose almost. Like it almost literally looks like that from the side. This is my head. And I noticed only fairly recently that like my skull doesn't do this. It just does this. Because you don't often see yourself from the side, do you? So it's something. And that's a sign of you know, being fucking gangster and hard and shit. That's what that is. That's what I tell myself anyway. I just... Jesus, I didn't intend to be this sort of sad about everything. This is a really good drawing. I really like this, actually. I wasn't expecting to, but I'm really happy with it. I should do this more often. I should draw like pictures of myself pulling funny faces and draw them and shit, and people would be like, hey, it's another... Maybe build a whole series around it, a whole series of you and portraits, and then people can buy them and have my face on their wall. Wouldn't that be fucking weird? It's weird enough that people hang other drawings of mine on the wall. Hey, do you want to see something cool that someone will probably have hung up on their wall sometime soon? It's only that bloody huge X-Men painting I had to do again because I hated it. But look, it's come out really good. I'm really happy with it. It's a painting. You can touch it and shit. Wolverine's huge. I couldn't fit the Beast in any way I was like happy with, so I just stuck him in as a little like teddy bear or whatever. And then I sent this a picture of it to the guy it's for, and he was like, "Oh, could you make Wolverine's arms a bit bigger? They seem a bit small," which is funny because they're enormous. But then it's like a good point because I complain that I can't fit Beast into the composition anywhere, and I take up this huge fucking a third of the page with Wolverine's arms, and it's like, maybe just a little bit. But yeah, I'm happy with this as a final piece. There are things I look at and I'm like, I could change this and that, and the composition's a bit. He can move this way, his head a little bit, and yeah. But ultimately, I'm happy with the painting as a whole, and it gets to the point where you've just got to fucking leave it and be like, it's done, it's all right. I showed the person it's for, who's paid for it. They really like it, so there's no reason to try and go all perfectionist and try to fix this and fix that. Especially when it's already my second attempt at the fucking thing. Like it's done. Just fucking leave it and be done with it. You fuck fart. Hair is such a fucking annoying thing to draw. Whether it's beards or hair on the head or whatever. I think that's one reason I do want to do more, or at least one fucking comic with my Death Fist character, because I feel like he would be like my Hellboy. Well, you can say, wouldn't that be Gun Viking? But I've been listening to a lot of interviews with Mike Mignola recently, and he was talking about how originally Hellboy was literally shapes and things that he enjoyed drawing, and he put them into one character, and then that he put them into a world of things he wanted to draw, and every story was just like shit he wanted to draw, and he did it. Whereas Gun Viking for me was very, I have this idea of like a superhero who's a Viking, he uses guns, and it'll be cool, muscles and fucking shit, and so I did that. But if I look at something that's just like shapes and stuff that I want to draw, a skull head, bandaged arms, one huge arm, fists, death, like no hair on anyone, anywhere, ever, then that would then make Death Fist be my my Hellboy in that respect. Just stuff that I like drawing, that I can draw enough of to get a full comic out of it. How fucking cool is this drawing, man? I'm really stoked on that. I wasn't sure it was going to come out good, but it's come out good, so I'm pretty happy about it. I did have one idea as well. I meant to talk about at some point with regards to Death Fist, because there was a lot of sort of I don't know, just like why, what's his purpose, what's he here for, and if he's basically like the Grim Reaper, and he has to get people who are avoiding death and punch them down into the underworld. I was thinking, like, what would this situation be that a person would be in that predicament? I thought of one character that I could do. Would be like some guy who's evading death, and he's got like runes and like glyphs, like magical glyphs and runes carved into his body, like all over him, to like ward off the spirits that would drag him, into hell. And it would be hell because he'd be like, a kid toucher or a child murderer or something, something cool like that. And I just thought that could be a really neat sort of bad character for Death Fist to track down and eventually punch into the world of the dead. I thought I could talk about that for longer, but that's basically it. A guy with, scars and things carved all over his body, self-inflicted, because they're all like glyphs with meaning and stuff. And then Death Fist finds him, has a fight with him, punches him, and maybe because of all the glyphs and stuff, Death Fist has trouble fighting him. Like, because Death Fist is a being not of this world necessarily, so he has to sort of figure out a way to defeat the guy and get him into hell. And ultimately, he punches him with his big bad Death Fist and saves the day, and then, I don't know, eats sushi. I haven't thought it all the way through, all right? Yeah, let's fucking... I do think that as well, I need to... This year's been a rough one for mental health. I've just about been able to work on the things that will just about pay my rent, like just about. But what I really want to do next year, or in the coming months, year, whatever, is really put out work, like portfolio work that I can send to places and try to get like, more published stuff. For, because it would be nice to have that out there, to feel validated in what I'm doing. And also paid work. It would be nice to have paid work that isn't just commissions and selling stuff, which is ultimately, if I can do that, then that's all good. And, if I can just make books and sell books and do commissions, then cool. But, there might be at least a fraction more money in published work, which will give me a fraction more time to work on other things. Potentially, this is all potential, and it's all... I feel very much like all the work I've got to show at the moment feels like personal work. Even all the gun Viking and stuff, it feels like personal work. I don't feel like I can fill a portfolio with it and take it to places and ask to get work outside of myself. I feel like... I think Death Fist could be a good one for that. Like, if I can make a Death Fist comic, make it look good and make it look a bit more like not a mainstream comic, but a more palatable comic than like Gun Viking or whatever, then that would be a good like portfolio piece. Something I can show off to publishers and agencies and stuff. These are all just thoughts, yeah. Nothing's. It's just how I feel. It's thoughts and feelings and thoughts. Because that's all we are at the end of the day, isn't it? We're all just a bunch of thoughts and feelings in weird little skeleton bodies walking around thinking we matter. In about 20 seconds, you're not even going to be matter. I think that's Men in Black. think. It might not be, I could be wrong, but... Oh, do you like the see, it progresses this way, because it's like fairly plain, like, oh, just, you know, chilling, whatever, and then he's even got expressive lines. Grr, fucking grr, things exist, and I'm mad about it. Grr. I just, you know, sometimes I just need a minute to bitch and complain about me and myself, my situation. Sometimes I do that a lot, and then, you know, like I say, next week I'll do more Texas Chainsaw Massacre stuff. But yeah, just let me have a minute. Just give me a minute. I feel like that's so much in life. Just fucking give me a minute. Let me just. Hey.